Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Skull Session Recruiting Podcast, brought to you by BuckeyeHuddle.com. I am Marc Givler, joined by Tony Gerdeman today. It is a special commitment edition of the Skull Session Recruiting Podcast. Buckeyes have landed four-star linebacker Cincere Johnson, Cleveland Glenville pipeline alive and well, announced at Ginn Academy today his decision to choose the Buckeyes over Alabama and Penn State. Buckeyes getting one of the nation's top linebacker prospects, probably a Mike linebacker. We'll dive into that in a minute. Tony, we've talked about the Glenville pipeline a bit here over the last several weeks as Cincere Johnson's visits were happening and the decision date was approaching, and as the J.J. Perez recruitment continues to percolate. I guess, first of all, it just, Glenville just keeps churning them now. It feels like it's back.
Yeah, I think we talked last week. It's good to have Glenville back because there was a period of time where it went kind of dormant in terms of Ohio State. So every year it's like, well, which two guys this year is basically where things stand, and that's how it used to be. So, and there's always guys in the pipeline now. So it's good to see, but not just, there are Ohio State guys is the key here. And, you saw Cincere Johnson years ago, and you could see pretty early on that he was, I keep calling him a smaller Arvell Reese, but please don't calling him small. Putting the word small on him is incorrect. It's just Arvell Reese is an abnormally large linebacker. Cincere Johnson is just a big linebacker at this point. And I like watching his highlights, his huddle film, because he's active and he's violent.
Yes, the Arvell Reese comparison is interesting because they were both guys we saw very early in their careers at Glenville, and we knew they were great football players. We knew they were Ohio State caliber, but it was like, okay, are they going to be linebackers? Are they going to play on the edge? Like, kind of where is this going to take them? And like Arvell Reese, who we've seen walking around at camps this month, Arvell Reese looks like he's grown an inch and a half and put on like 30 pounds. Like, he looks enormous. He looks like he's like the first guy off the bus type of look to him right now. And so we'll see if that. That it's just the type of dudes they're churning right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and 24/7 even ranks Cincere Johnson as an edge in terms of the way they see him. But Arvell Reese came to Ohio State as a linebacker, and then there were some injuries, and he moved to defensive end about, I think, maybe on the first week, and that only lasted so long, and he got injured, and he did not play as a true freshman, but. You get him in and you figure it out later. But, there's a lot certainly to like about Cincere Johnson. And when you got Ted Ginn Sr. vouching for him, I think that still matters quite a bit.
No doubt. So let's throw in a little bit of Cincere Johnson's junior film. Again, probably a Mike linebacker. He's been playing that for Glenville. Tremendous instincts. As you mentioned, Tony, he's a violent tackler. He can really explode, kind of shoot those run gaps, can get after the quarterback. I think you put it perfectly there with the Arvell Reese. Like, Arvell is an abnormally large linebacker, but Cincere's a big linebacker that can run. Like, he is not an undersized linebacker by any stretch of the imagination. He's actually more of a throwback Mike-sized linebacker, but he just happens to be supremely athletic. So he can run, he can chase plays down. He's got great instincts. I actually think, and look, I was like driving the Arvell Reese bus when he was in high school. Like, I will feel very, very validated if Arvell turns into a star at Ohio State, because that was a guy I said immediately before they even offered him, like, this is the kid they have to offer. This is a kid who's going to be a tremendous defensive player. I don't know that Cincere doesn't have better natural football instincts maybe than Arvell had at the same point in their high school careers, which makes him very intriguing to me. He is a very instinctual player.
He is, and you're watching these highlights, and he doesn't get hung up on blockers. He's able to shoot the gaps, like you said. He can chase from sideline to sideline, and he can meet the running back at the line of scrimmage from an angle. And what I also like about him is he's not dragging guys down 7 yards downfield. Like, he hits them, and he's strong enough to pull them down rather than being dragged along for a couple of yards. So, coaches love when their running backs fall forward for 2 yards. It doesn't necessarily happen when Cincere Johnson's dealing with them. So, yeah, a ton to like. As you said, he's big, he's physical, but he runs, and he's not just he's the size of an old style or 1995 2002 middle linebacker, but he runs and he's fun to watch. And he doesn't, like a lot of these guys, maybe they run and they miss ankle tackles or whatever. He runs and gets there in time to wrap up, which I think is pretty key.
Yeah, so like I said, I've been a big fan. It's a great linebacker class in Ohio this year. I think there's a lot of depth to it. There's so many good players. I think the Big Ten is going to benefit from that as a whole. But Cincere's kind of been my top guy. He plays the game at a different speed, in my opinion, just in terms of not just his natural speed, but his instincts and his reads allow him to play the game at a really high and fast pace. So I think really, really highly of this guy. And I think this is will probably be an underrated pickup for Ohio State, much like Arvell Reese was in high school. I think everyone kind of just assumes they're going to get the Glenville kids and things like that. And, maybe linebacker's not as an exciting of a position as all the 5-star receivers Brian Hartline's bringing in, or, the quarterbacks or whatever. But I really think this is going to turn out to be a really big pickup for Ohio State when we look back on this in 3 or 4 years. So they've got what I would consider kind of enough at linebacker right now, but they're still swinging. Xavier Griffin's still out there. Tyler Atkinson's still out there. These are different types of linebackers. These are kind of like maybe your walkout linebackers, guys who maybe you're going to line up on the edge at times, maybe more of your Sonny Styles types versus maybe with Cincere, maybe being more of like a Cody Simon type of player. But what do you can't cap this, right? Like if Xavier Griffin, now look, let's not even get into like the idea that they're going to get both Xavier Griffin and Tyler Atkinson. I would maybe drop dead at that point of shock, like getting both of them. But you're not going to say no to either of those guys, are you?
No, and imagine telling James Laurinaitis, no, you can't. Sorry, we're full when you got some guys like that trying to get in, or if they were to try to get in. But also, try telling Matt Patricia, no, we don't want any more athletes on defense. This dude he wants as many athletes as he can get to do different things and to find stuff that they can specialize in, but not just pigeonhole them and okay, this is all you can do. But if you do this really well, we're going to find ways to get that done within the offense. So yeah, those two guys, Ryan Day loves his offense, but also, the thing is they have numbers for each position group. They want 5 running backs. I'm not sure exactly how many linebackers they want because they only necessarily play 2, but they'll be playing more. But they've got leeway in terms of their roster size because they're going to have 91 scholarships this year. That's probably a number that they like moving forward. But if there's somebody you like, we got room. And so you can't necessarily – well, we don't want to upset anybody because, there's the transfer portal. And so you've got to bring in the guys that you can as long as they're right fits, the right fit for your program. And really in recruiting, it's not often that you're necessarily concerned about scaring somebody else off. That's more of a transfer portal thing outside of the quarterback position, really. And so at linebacker, Cody Simon and Sonny Styles were just fine playing next to each other. And Arvell Reese was just fine coming off the bench. And 3 years before that, Cody Simon was good off the bench. So it takes more than just 2, even if they play only 2. And again, as we continue to see, if guys can play, then you're going to have coaches that are eager to find more ways to get them involved.
Yeah. And just kind of lastly, look, James Laurinaitis, yeah, he's got some Ohio kids now in this class. And I think everyone expects them to get the Ohio kids they want. That's fine. But he's got them in it for Griffin. He's got them in it for Atkinson. We are already, I think, seeing pretty good returns on TJ Alford and Riley Pettijohn. Those guys seem to be players they like. I saw Riley Pettijohn at camp earlier this week, and my goodness, has this Ohio State strength and conditioning program worked well for him as well. These are guys that may be difficult to keep off the field early in their careers. I mean, just how good of a run is this guy on right now? Laurinaitis on the recruit, he is, and he's got them in these 5-star battles nationally again. I mean, he's doing a great job on the recruiting trail.
I was going to ask you off the air, did I see Riley Pettijohn? Was that who that was? Because legitimately, he looks like I remember those old pictures of Vernon Golston back in 2006. Not quite like that, but he looks like he does doesn't look like a freshman linebacker. I'll just say that. And so the group that they got, and Peyton Pierce, we need to continue to talk about him as much as possible because he had an outstanding spring, and he's going to be the guy that steps in whenever they need him. He's going to be out there quite a bit for the Buckeyes. But yeah, it's a good run. And then I don't know, Mark, does this class have 2.5 linebackers now? Is it 3? Like, what does it? Just it depends on what Simeon Caldwell grows into and how they want to use him, I guess.
Yeah, like my instinct right now is that Simeon's probably going to end up playing like an outside linebacker role, and a guy that can kind of be like a tight end stopper and certain things like that. He's just a big framed kid. Like he looks like he's going to be like pushing 6'3" and like 225. But he's super cerebral. He's a very smart player. I think he's the type of guy who could learn a couple different positions and you can kind of move him around. He's a guy I think you can do a lot of things with. So yeah, he's a heck of a player no matter where he ends up. But that's just my gut feel seeing his physical development over the years. But to your point on Riley Pettijohn, like I said, I saw him the other day and I was like, because I had the last time I'd seen him, I guess would have been in person like that, maybe before his senior year of high school, right around then. And just incredible. Like looked like if I could have absolutely convinced anyone that didn't know who that was, I could say, hey, that's a guy. He played at Ohio State. He's in the NFL now. He's just coming back to help the camp. And I would have I could have sold anybody on that. Like it was unbelievable how the strength and conditioning program was taken to him. So
it's like, see that's 37-year-old Herschel Walker right there.
like that's that's some all-time former all Big Ten linebacker that's just coming around the program helping out. But with what Laurinaitis is doing right now, and he's got them in the game like 27 now. Like Caden Henderson's on campus earlier this week, gushing about James Laurinaitis. I've covered Caden over the past several months, talked to him and his dad a lot. They love James Laurinaitis. He's got him in the mix for Roman Igwebuike out of Chicago, out of Mount Carmel, another big-time 27. This guy is rolling right now. He's definitely the best recruiting linebackers coach they've had since Luke Fickell, easily, I think.
I'll stick with Billy Davis, and then we can just agree to disagree.
All right, fine. He was agree to disagree on that one. But yeah, so Buckeyes keep rolling here. Cincere Johnson in the fold. Big-time in-state pickup over Alabama and Penn State. This is going to be a fun couple weeks. I'm not saying it's going to be all good news. I'm sure there's going to be, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be exciting. There's going to be definitely Ohio State's going to get their fair share of good news. That I do believe. But there's going to be a lot of decisions being made here the next couple of weeks. So stay locked in at BuckeyeHuddle.com. We have all sorts of coverage there on the site and the message board. We're going to be running several interesting podcasts, I'm sure, here over the next week or two, going over recruiting decisions that are made. We got a visitor preview we're going to run here probably on Friday morning, just kind of looking at the upcoming weekend as there's a lot going on there. But that's what you have looking forward to here the next week or so. Tony, any parting thoughts?
No, just keep that Glenville pipeline rolling, and the coaches at Ohio State will be very happy.
Yep. So appreciate everyone watching and listening, and we'll be back here. I'm sure we'll be talking to you soon.